Okay, let's go straight to this one. I was already talking and I didn't push the live button yet, so... Hey guys! Oh, the chat for some reason has moved off screen. I'm unsure why that is. Let me just do it like that. Well, I was watching BitLooney stream and then I had to eat, and I thought he'd still be streaming for a while and he wasn't, so I was like, hey, let's just start the streaming. I have a prototype I need to solder, so yeah. I was still setting the LEDs in the background. Let's see, let's do this one. The effect is a bit meh. There we go, that's nice to look at. So, yeah, let's hang out and maybe I'll solder some stuff and let's see where this ends up. Hey Quinder, goeie says Tieske. Andy is here. Hey. With AS card? What? With an ESP32, for example. What's Miguel talking about? Another live stream. Oh yeah, soldering time. Yup. Can't wait to get my Dig-Quad. Did you order one from Dr. Z's today? Hello, first time here, just subscribed. Got myself a Dig-Uno to control my first LED project, first project in general, and everything worked fantastically. Thank you very much for all your work. Thank you, Air Jure. Oh, Kenneth Thorgerson. A Norwegian kroner, I think. 500s of them. Thank you very much. That is an awesome start of the stream. But, I mean, the donations are very welcome. They're absolutely not mandatory. We're just going to hang out. And, yeah, Dr. Z's went through the 400 we were able to make before Chinese New Year hit in, like, hours. It's insane again. Yeah, he sold out really quickly. There's still some left, I think, in the worldwide store, but that's it. And actually, that's going to be it for a little while, because, well, it's Chinese New Year now, so China isn't producing, and, well, I'm prototyping for a reason, because we're going to make some changes, and I'm hoping to release those after, or somewhere after Chinese New Year, but we'll see. Got my Dig-Quads working multi-channel. Thanks for the help the other night on Discord. No problem, Brian. Hey, glad we could fix it. Hi there from Birkenhead, UK. I'm asking if you still use VTO and VTH. Yep, I do. And if you do something with the alarm port, I do not. Goedenavond, Draadstaal's here. The light, the light is still there because it's not Valentine until Sunday. So we have to wait. Hi, Quindor. Joe Tibet. Hey, Quindor. What type of solder will you be using? Well, I have this giant roll. Let's see if the top cam can figure out what that is. It's a bit overexposed, I guess. Yeah, so I have some Alpha Telecore XL, but it's a half a kilo roll. So I've been using this stuff for a while. Oh, Tom Porter, thanks again, Quinder, for all you do. Great community you are building. Thank you for sending some cash my way. That'll certainly help me do prototyping. How can I put an ESP32 on my Dig-Uno? Just plug it in there. If you have one of the normal D1 minis, or in the future one of my custom boards, there's 2 times 8 pins you solder on the current Dig-Uno. You plug it in there, that's it. Wow, donations, Tom Porter and Kenneth Thorgerson, thank you so much, that's awesome. I'm exploring it, and it's very easy to use an ESP32 to trigger the alarm from Home Assistant. Yeah? Probably, sure. Soldering Friday, fun day. Oh yeah. Restricted for professionals. Yes, it does say that. That's funny. I am a professional, but not at this, this profession. But hey, Eddie from Bladel. Good evening, Quindor. Hey there. Let me just tone this down a little bit. then the table goes to black. No, what's going... Okay, yeah. Wait, I need to see what's on the screen. Hold on. That's better. Okay. So let's talk for a little bit, and then I'll start the soldering. Let's go back to the face cam. The face cam. I need to manually move it. Let's see here. Great timing, by the way. I also just hooked up my soldering iron and tried to destroy mod this USB lamp. So let's get soldering. Wow, the donation from Kenneth is still there. I don't know how much that was. Don't donate too much. I mean, only things you can miss, okay? That's the deal. I feel like addressable LEDs are going to be as big as the internet was hyped up to be at its inception. I removed my GoSund SP1 flashed with your energy monitoring guide. Enough energy monitoring for me. What to do with 22 GoSund power plugs? Throw them on Marktplaats? I don't know. I see now tin LED. Yes, I still have the LED variety. Might switch to unleaded at some point. Air Jure, another €5 donation. Thank you so much. Come on, guys. You're gonna make me all shy again. I do like the donations, don't get me wrong. But, you know, it's not mandatory at all. But yeah, I appreciate it. So let's take a quick look in here, because I've been doing a lot of Dig-Quad prototypes, and my newest Dig-Quad, and if you were on the Discord, I've already shared this. Let's see if this is the one. No. Where would I put it? Where did I put my newest? I don't know. Is this the one? No. Wait. Hold on. Let me try and find my newest Dig-Quad. Where would I put that? Huh. Because I was cleaning up earlier today because I was actually shooting another video. I don't know where I put it. That's stupid. Hold on, mine went blank here. $60 US. Damn. Hi there, Quindo. Hey, Johnny. Hey, well, I was like, hey, if BitLooney stops streaming, I guess I can push the button. You know, start streaming. Lee MCC. Friday night chilling. Oh yeah. I just need to find the... Ah, there it is. Okay. The latest Dig-Quad prototype. We can talk about that a little bit. And then... Well, you know, I'll start soldering at some point, I think, I hope. Or we're just going to chat. I don't know. We'll see. So, yeah, this is a PCBWay box. How about that? So, this is the current newest Dig-Quad prototype. It's not fully finished yet, but it's getting there. Wait, Tom Porter, didn't you just donate? Are you donating again? Happy Friday, let's keep the fun going. For sure. These people are nuts. Anyway, let's take the Ethernet top hat off. So this is my version 2 for the Dig-Quad, revision 5 prototype. Let's talk about that a little bit. Wait, did somebody have a message? Friday night chilling, yeah, okay. And, the design is still somewhat the same, except that you now see there's a double row over here, and they're not 8 pins, but 9 pins. There's still a single row over here, but now you see there's a triple screw terminal over here. That's because I changed some of the 5-volt EXT stuff. And, well, as you've already probably been able to see, but I'll magically zoom in on it. No jumpers needed. Now this will only be for the pre-assembled version. So, yeah, the DIY version will not do that. Those will still have jumpers. They'll have some of the improvements I'm making, but they will still be using jumpers because the circuit that's on here is just too intricate to have most people do at home. I know you guy, that one guy, probably the one that would be able to do it, but yeah, pre-assembled for now only. So you can use 5 volt to 24 volts in for main input and 5 volt EXT, or any combination you'd like to make. So you can have 5 volt EXT 5 volt and then 12 volt LEDs, or you can have 5 volt LEDs and then 12 volt standby power, or 24 volt standby power, or whatever combination you can think of, you can have. Of course, voltage in for the main input still needs to match what's going out, or actually over here, to the LEDs. That doesn't change. I mean, if you need a buck converter for 30 amps, it'd be, about this big, so that's never going to happen. But if we look at the back, we see that the circuit has certainly changed a bit. This whole island here is new, and this isn't even the final form yet. Haha. But yeah, lots of changes to the Dig-Quad, and for now, pre-assembled only. There will be a V2 DIY, but it will not have the auto selection circuit and stuff like that. So the day after I ordered my digs, Quinner starts talking about this new version. Well, I've talked about it before. You knew it was coming. But I'm not sure when it's coming yet. This is still a prototype, and we haven't done anything in production changes and stuff like that. And all of these changes are mainly focused around... Oh, one of the screws came out. This one. All of the changes are mainly focused around Ethernet and making the boards compatible for that. So if you're not going to use Ethernet on that board, basically the changes aren't that big, except the Dig-Quad now has this auto sensing input voltage and input terminal circuit, but other than that, functionality mainly stays the same. Yeah, so, well, this still works like it did before, and you can plug that in, and yeah. Oh wait, I need to... Well, I told my Discord I was almost ready to stream, so I don't need to post it again. Anyway, this is just showing off some of the newest prototype I've done on the Dig-Quad, which is seeing more changes than the newer Dig-Uno. I'm updating the pre-assembled versions first, and then I'll work on getting the DIY versions done, because I kind of have some kind of deadline with Chinese New Year and manufacturing slots and stuff like that. So I want to try and get, well, all this stuff finished before all that is going on. But again, all these changes, or most of these changes, generally only affect you if you are wanting to use the Ethernet. Oh, I turned that off, right? If you want to use the Ethernet top board. If you're not going to use the Ethernet top board, it's not that different from the current Dig-Uno, or Dig-Quad, and the Dig-Uno especially. Are they going to be PoE? Of course, somebody had to start about PoE. What do you think? Does this smart input selection make it a smart device? Not any smarter than it already was. Anyway, so we have a PCBWay box here, and there's some stuff in here, but I think I need this one. Did I order a stencil for Dig-Uno? I'm not sure. Maybe I did. Maybe I did, and that would make things easier. Yes, we need this tool. Of course we need this tool, because otherwise we can't open anything. And I haven't been getting a lot of packages lately, so I can't do a QuinBox either. So I was just like, okay, let's hit the live stream, see what's going on. Oh, no, this is for an older yeah, this is for, this is a stencil for version, revision 4. So this is new. I don't need that. I don't need this either. I just need one of these. Okay, let's tear that open. Still a little bit of QuinBox. And let's get a little board out. because this is a new revision or a prototype revision of the Dig-Uno I've been working on, and I haven't tested it yet. So who knows, maybe we solder it together and it doesn't do anything, or it explodes, or, you know, who knows. That's why we do prototyping. Jeff Hammer in the house. They'll be PoE as soon as he can build them on his new desk. Don't talk about the desk. Come on, man. Whoa, this is the microscope view? No, this is actually just my normal camera view. I'm still working on the microscope a little bit. And let me just zoom in as far as I want to. And then I need to resize. Uh-oh. What did I do? Okay, I moved the background. Hold on. I need to... Yeah. So this is very unprepared. Sorry about that. Just gonna put that here. There we go. And now we need to focus it. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, though this is my normal camera, actually. My top mount camera, but there's a 10x zoom lens on there now. And I think that's actually going to do just as well as the microscope for these kind of boards. So, yeah. Oh, it's upside down. Okay, well, sorry. There we go. So this is a V3 R2, because QuinLED-Dig-Uno V1 never came out. That design wasn't that great. So I only released V2 in the end. Yeah. And as you can see here, again you see the double row that wasn't there before. Some stuff has moved. And well, let's put it together and see if it works, I guess. Shaky cam, yeah. It's well, you don't want to see my construction here in the studio. Because, yeah, it's really professional grade here. Like it says, it's only restricted for use by professionals. So, yeah, that's me. It's not going to have PoE, man, unless you build it. And Russ Sutter says, and now I'm going to need to buy all new parts because I'll have something else to play with. Quindor, you're ruining my bank account. Sorry about that. Try to do my best. Now it's saying 2-channel LED controller. That's right. Because I'm going to stop recommending you get the ESP8266 with it, but just use an ESP32 from now on. Let me see if I can manual focus this a little bit better. There we go. Nope, still not great. Yeah, the production value today is going to be BitLooney levels, or BitLooney's trash levels, I guess. So don't expect too much. Okay. Yeah, so the output ports have also been renamed, as you can see here. And these are just things I'm trying, but I think these are going to stick. So now we don't have L1D and L1C anymore. We're just going to have LED1 and LED2. This says 5 volt and 12 volt, but I'm actually going to make it 24 volt compatible. I already made that change here. So this says 5 volt, 12 volt, 24 volt. Yeah, this needs to be clearer because you have a 5 volt setting and then a 12 plus 24 volt setting for the jumper. Because the auto selection circuit, it's impossible to fit it on this board. No problem. Come from the content, not the quality. Yeah, I try to have some quality. But, you know, yeah, so there's a lot of tiny little changes on the board. So, for instance, here it now says button instead of GPO 0. That was always confusing because with an ESP8266 on there, it was GPO 0, but with an ESP32 on there, it turned into GPO 17, I believe, or something like that. So that was confusing, so I renamed that to button. A0 stayed. Did I make some? Yeah, well, I moved this around, so this now says LED 1 and then 16 and 3 because those are actually the GPIO numbers. Position is still the same, so you still need it in the left position for the jumper. No Q0. No, sorry about that. At least we don't have to watch him eat like Bit Looney. Yeah, no, I have a drink here. It's iced tea, but you know. Let's see, did I make a lot of changes here? Oh, it's not the right way around, I think. I actually wrote here 2 times level shifter because the amount of times I have gotten the question where the level shifter is on the pre-assembled Dig-Uno, well, maybe if I put 2 times level shifter here, I'll get less questions about that. We'll see. Yes, this is fully designed with KiCad. Kenneth Thorgerson. Wait, didn't you donate before? Is this like repeat donation stream? Deja vu donation? I'm going to scroll back. Yeah, it's the same guy again. Thank you very much for the donation. Yes, I do everything in KiCad. So yeah, small changes, mostly again to accommodate the Ethernet, and some small parts moved and stuff like that to prepare for the custom ESP32 board I want to use. Do I have one here? I have one here. This is a non-working prototype, but that's fine. So in the end, it'll go on like these, and that's why I've been making some changes for that. So where are the level shifters, right? Yeah, this is magic non-level shifter. Maybe you need to make a no PoE ever label on your boards too. I'm not saying ever. What's the one wire pin? Okay, so here you have the DS18B20, the temperature sensor. That temperature sensor is of the one wire type. So I thought like, okay, let's break out that pin too. And then with that pin, you can hook up multiple one wire sensors. So if you if you want an extra or 5 extra temperature sensors next to the one that's on board, you can hook those all up to the one wire pin, and it's a sort of bus, a one wire bus system. So then you can have multiple temperature sensors right on the same board. Lee MCC Deja Vu donations. I guess I should make a t-shirt about that. Anyway, let's open my notes, because this is my first time looking at this prototype, or this version of the prototype since I've gotten it. So I always make notes, because otherwise I see something, but then I forget it, and I don't see it again. So 2 times level shifter text make bigger. So we're just going to take a look at things I want to change. So over here it says 16/3. That's okay. When can I get the new ESP? Well, as I showed off in the previous stream and on Discord, the new versions, I've made 100 of them. But since China's kind of closed right now, yeah, we're waiting a little bit, and once they start shipping again, those will be the first thing that start shipping again. He's not saying ever, because I might just do it for him. Hey, who knows? Do you have any recommendations for a 5 volt to 12 volt DC surface mount component? It depends on the amount of amps. If it's like 100 milliamp or something like that, you can just use a linear converter. If it's more than that, you'd have to look into designing a buck converter. And there are now buck converters with inductors and all kinds of stuff inside of the package itself. So you might take a look at those. They are a bit more expensive though. I turned my Dig-Uno into a Dig-Duo by compiling WLED. I could get the compile to work with an ESP32, but not an ESP8266. Yeah, that's what I always say. If you want advanced features such as multi-channel, use an ESP32. Will it not work with an ESP8266? Yeah, I don't recommend it. It's kind of botched on the ESP8266, so I will definitely recommend doing multi-channel stuff with an ESP32 only. Do you need to put the values on the 2x pull-up, or does everything just assume they're 10K? Well, unless you use them, you don't have to put anything on there. And if you do use them, 10K is a very generic value that a lot of people use. But if your requirements are different, that's why there are pads. You can put there what you want. So let's open up my own guide, because I actually use my own guide to figure out the order that I need to solder the components. Soldering guide. Right, we have lots of SMD stuff, of course. How am I going to do these without a stencil? I think I had a stencil for my previous prototype. So let me try and get that. Hey Andy, you can see me using a stencil. Let's see here. Do I have a stencil for a Dig-Uno in here? No, not it. Okay, so this was Dig-Quad only, most likely. Sorry about the noise. Gimme that! Any chance of the pre-assembled boards coming with 24 capable caps? Yes. Once the new versions come out, those will both, so both the Dig-Uno and the Dig-Quad, will become 24 volt compatible. Let's see if the stencils are in here that I need. Yes. No, this is for Ethernet. Yeah, Dig-Uno. Just as a little disclaimer, these are all prototypes for testing and trying different things and, stuff like that. So no guarantees that anything you see today will actually be released, or when it will be released, or anything like that. So just so you know. Okay, let me stupid boxes. Okay, so this is a stencil. It's a little metal plate with laser cut holes. You can see somewhat. And if you take the PCB, of course the layout changed since this stencil, so it's not going to fit anymore. Need to turn this around. Where are the pads? Okay, so some stuff stayed in the same spot and others didn't, as you can see. But you line up the stencil so that you don't see the green stuff anymore. And you stick it down. And normally I'd stick down the board too, but I think I can make it work like this. Oh, let me take it off real quick. But I want it now! Yes, well, it's not ready now, so you can't have it yet. Okay. We take the most important part for doing a stencil, a credit card or some other card you don't use anymore. Oh. And then I get my my paste and flux box. And some tissue paper. Whoa. Now this normally isn't the way I do it, so let's see how it works out. Because I normally make sure that the board underneath here is like tucked down so it can't move. But let's try it like this. Who knows? Maybe it'll work. Where do you get the stencil from? Is that an option when ordering DIY boards? Yes. If you do it through PCBWay, you can click the Get Stencil button, basically, and then you can get a stencil with it. But this SMD version is pre-assembled only. So the DIY version will still have the through-hole level shifters and stuff like that. You had a quality production issue on the old Dig-Unos. All of the new 100 came out okay? I don't know what you're talking about. We had a production issue because a supplier sent us really botched ESP32s. So that was an external product we didn't make ourselves. So we couldn't really do any quality check and stuff like that during production. But there weren't any problems with the Dig-Uno or Dig-Quad boards themselves. It's just the external ESP32, which we're going to make ourselves in the future. I was already planning to do that, but that stupid batch of like 35 or 40% back of ESP32s, that really hit the hammer that we're going to put extra effort in replacing those with our own version. So I just squirted some paste on, and I guess I'm just going to hold it down. In the end, it just needs to get paste on the pads, and that's it. And this is really not the way to do it, but I don't care right now. Because normally you tape it down and, you make sure it's secure and it can't move and you don't get too much paste on there, and that's not going into the holes. It's going into the wrong spots too. So this looks horrible, but if you look here, slightly misaligned. Oh man, please don't pay attention to this. I'm really not doing it the way I should. But, I don't care right now. Just want to hang out. Engage safety squints, please. Yes. So, you show soldering how to DIY this, but this will not be DIY. No, this is a prototype for the pre-assembled version, not the DIY version. Because I'm not done yet making the updated DIY versions. So I'm just grabbing my my handful of tweezers here. Because I'm currently still working on the prototypes for the pre-assembled versions. Those will come out first. And then after that, the DIY versions will follow with the same updates, basically. Except for the DC-DC converter circuit and stuff like that. PCB says no. It's vaguely in the right spot. I think I can make it work while reflowing. We'll see. I should have just taped it down correctly, but I'm setting a really bad example, I'm just realizing. Sorry about that. I should set better examples. Oh well. Okay. So let's do the level shifters first. QuinDOR prototypes solar paste application live. No. Hey, quick question. I bought the assembled QuinLED-Dig-Uno, but it doesn't have the level shifter. Is there a reason for that? Yes, there's a reason why I'm changing these PCBs to show here. Oh, I touched the paste. Now I'm going to die. No. To show there 2x level shifter. The pre-assembled version, which this is a prototype of, this is not a prototype of the DIY version, comes with SMD level shifters. And to be exact, it comes with these. 2 of these. There we go. Oh, you can't see that. There. 2 of those. Those are the level shifters. Hi, beginner question. Can you explain the use case for a Dig-Quad board? Why do you use it? Control 4 different LED strips? I own a couple of pre-assembled Dig-Unos I use for Christmas lighting. Well, Dig-Quad has 4 output channels, so indeed, if you need more or longer LED strips, you can use more channels and they can make a continuous effect. Or if, especially if you're running 5-volt LEDs, once you go past a certain length and amount of LEDs, you want to power inject. And the Dig-Uno only has a single terminal for that, but the Dig-Quad has 7 power injection terminals and 5 fuses to make it a safe setup. So for larger installations, it's just easier. Okay, let's see which tweezer we're going to use. Let's use this one. Oh man. I always regret starting to do something like this on stream, because if I'm actually doing it myself, or by myself, I'm a lot more secure for some reason, or precise, not secure. How do you say that? Not sure how to call that, but yeah. These were not the tweezers I was looking for. Okay. Good enough. Through the magic of hot air, it'll be okay. Then we need some caps. We need some caps. Hearing a weird noise. Anyway. Capacitors. Where do I have my... Oh. My capacitors are under the camera. Hold on. Please don't get seasick. Nope. Yep. There we go. There we go. Scott Noddings, a big thanks for the help with my first Dig-Uno ESP32 WLED project last weekend. My infinity tunnel is now sound reactive and controlled via a button. That's awesome. Nice. So we need some 0.1 NF. Where's the start? Oh no, they're all over my disk now. Okay. I need, I think I need 3 or 4. Let's hope I need 4, because there's 4 out of the package. Yeah, sorry for the earthquake. Let's see, in my guide, I need 1, 2... Yeah, okay, sure. I think I know where these need to go. I believe 1 goes here. I believe 1 goes here. I believe 1 goes here. And I believe 1 goes here. But yeah, Scott, I'm happy that all worked out. Let's see here. Have you played with the sound reactive fork of WLED with the Dig-Uno? Looking to set those up. Kids and wife will want that all want that feature. I've done some tests with analog and MEMS microphone, but there's others out there who've done a lot more of it. And from what I understood, it all works perfectly. So the diode can also be small again. Yeah, maybe on this pre-assembled version, but I try to keep some stuff the same and some stuff different, but yeah. Oh, maybe there's a different here you'll spot too. I'm experimenting with a different resistor value. Let's see, did I have any bigger caps on here? I don't think so. Huh. I guess not. Oh, I must have had some reason for that at some point. Okay. Let's get some resistors. We're going to need diodes. And the resistors are here. Yeah. Okay, let's put on some diodes. There's actually reasons to keep the diodes big. Okay. Hello, Paulson. This is a Panasonic GX80 with a 10x zoom lens. So this is still not the microscope, but I kind of also bought that for different projects and myself, and I find that the setup this way is actually easier for doing a live stream than the microscope probably. But who knows, we'll use it in future projects. As you can see here, we're using 2 diodes, not 3. That's one of the changes I'm making. And, well, we're going to test on this prototype. See how that responds to everything. Let's see, we need a... Oh, we need a resistor I've been playing with. Hold on. We need to get one of these boxes. Nope, not that one. Yes, this one. So I've been playing with these 3D printable boxes here, where you can put the SMD tape in, and then the little plastic lead comes out here, and you can actually pull this lead, and then the tape comes out with the components. I know you couldn't see that, but yeah, here are the components, and you can pull the tape, and it comes out with the components on there. Now we only need one, so I just make sure it says 1, and then I dump it on my build plate. And then I can click it back into place. You need to make mini SMD LED strip on the Dig-Uno peak viewer. What? Okay, what else do I need for just a simple test? I think I need a 10K. So you have this thing, I pull on the little lead till one's visible, and I just put it on my plate. Something I've been printing and experimenting with. So far it's pretty good. I think it needs to go here for the button. So I don't need Q1 and Q2 for now. I don't need Q3 and Q4. I have these. Oh, I need some resistors for the LEDs. I do not have... I actually don't have 249 in 0805. That's a slight oversight, but I do have that in 0603. So we're going to see if that we can make that work. So I pull on the little thingy, and I want to. There we go. So we're going to put the wrong size resistor here and see if that works. It's the right value, but the wrong size. I think it'll work. There we go. Hot air is magic. Love it. I assume you're using GeForce RTX for your stream audio? No. What would that do? Oh, wait. No. Stop it. Oh, you mean RTX voice? No, no. This is just a good microphone. I wish I would have had that before my build. What do you wish? Anyway, let's see here. I think that is the most SMD components I'm going to use for now. This should at least make it work. Oh, that's right. I was already wondering where my 10 UF cap was. I couldn't imagine I removed it from the board, but I moved it. I didn't remove it. No, one. No. I have a giant bag with 10 UF. Okay. Again, to prevent confusion, this is a prototype for the pre-assembled version, not the upcoming prototype or a revision for the DIY version, basically. And don't worry if you have a current board, there's not that much changes, you know, it doesn't change how your LEDs look or stuff like that. If you have a current board, that's perfectly fine. These are just to accommodate the upcoming changes needed for Ethernet. You can still run Ethernet on the old boards, but it has more limitations than the new design will have. That's basically it. Okay, so I'm going to try something because this pad, which I need for the 10 UF, hasn't been pasted because I moved that since the last prototype design, and I didn't get what is happening with the wired Ethernet for the digs. Where can I find more information? Not more information yet, but it'll come out soon. But it's looking good. I shared more in the previous live stream. You can see some more about that. But yeah, that is coming, and more information will be released soonish. I'm still working on those articles, and then I'll do a video about them. So I'm just gonna try and borrow some paste here from these parts that shouldn't have paste. This will be the most botchy soldering you have ever seen. Okay, I need to squirt some extra paste on here. But yeah, actually this week I finished what I wanted to change on the Dig-Quad, or at least the newest prototype work. I'm pretty certain this prototype is going to work and have the changes I wanted to have too. So we're starting to get closer and closer to being able to update everything. And then in, I think, maybe 1.5, 2 months time, let's hope we can release Ethernet. Let's do a bit like that. There we go. That should solder fine. If this Dig-Uno, Dig-Duo comes out, will it have WLED on it to run 2 channels? Well, the current Dig-Uno can already do that. There's no change in that regard. You just need the right firmware and an ESP32. So, yes, but that's no different than what the current one can already do if you get the right firmware. Or the right... there's actually a beta or alpha version of the there's a dev branch of WLED, and if you install that one, you can already play around with some multi-channel manually configure stuff, and you don't have to do it during flash anymore. Just gonna see if I can get the paste out of that hole, because that is going to be a problem. If I reflow that, I won't be able to get the headers in anymore. Let's see if we can get that out. Come on. This is the most janky ass. I think I've been influenced by BitLooney a bit. Like, screw preparations and doing it the right way. Let's just do it. Okay, that should do it, I think. What's the advantage of Ethernet versus Wi-Fi, in your opinion, for these boards? Well, if you're going to do anything real-time streaming-wise, so if you want to use X-Lights or Vixen or LED effects or something like that, where something else than the board itself generates the pixel effects, so you can do timing perfect to music and Christmas lights and stuff like that. One or two boards will work fine over Wi-Fi. But once you get more LEDs and timing becomes more critical, and you have like 10 channels running over 5 boards and stuff like that, that's a really tough challenge for Wi-Fi. But using Ethernet, that's no problem at all. And then, if you live in an area where there's a lot of Wi-Fi going on, so you have a very spotty connection, or the board is too far away from the access point, or stuff like that, that's all places where Ethernet can benefit you. Blast cold air through the hole. Yeah, I don't have a cold air can, so that's hard. Was that live stream so horrible? No, it was fun, but BitLooney certainly has its own style. I'm mostly more prepared, but I'm like YOLO today. So, same of my Wi-Fi lights that should just turn on and off in sync and sometimes take 5 seconds or more. Wow. Okay, yeah, well, Ethernet certainly won't have that problem. Okay. I think we're ready to hit it with the reflow gun and see what happens. I think it'll be okay. Yeah. I think it'll be okay. Let's hope it will be okay. I'm going to turn on the little fan, which is totally messed up wire-wise. Why? Oh no, okay. Things off-screen are falling over. It's okay. We'll live. I'm going to nudge this board a little bit, like, to the edge of my working surface. And then I'm going to get my... This is my fume extractor, or it doesn't extract anything. It has a carbon pad, so... oh no, don't push any keys. It's a little bit better for my health. Let's see here. Oh, and I'd like to wear glasses when I'm soldering, so if any flux fumes and stuff like that comes over, not into my eyes, please. Okay. Now the best part. Well, let's see. Let's hope so. Oh, I didn't turn that on yet. Okay. So we're going to use a... Oh, no, it's all strangled. Okay, we're going to be using one of these. This is a hot air gun, so the hot air comes out of here. And it's currently ramping up. I believe I have it set to 360 degrees. Nice and toasty. And let's just take a look at the magic. Oh, I have to turn the fume extractor on. Sorry for the noise. I don't know if you can still hear me, but yeah. Have to bear with it for a little bit. Oh, no, this isn't released yet. This is just working on a prototype. Oh, we can see the paste bubbling. There's a little bit too much paste there, but look at that. Oh, that's easy. High heat, low fan speed. Yep. I just want to bake it on there. So those lower pads are close to a plane, so they take a little bit more heat because the whole board needs to heat up before those solder. Okay, that looks pretty good. I want to nudge this one a little bit. There we go. Now let's do the giant diode. Will the Ethernet add-on be available for current Dig users? Yes. It will be with some limitations. I'll have a page on that. I'll be working on that. But both the current Dig-Uno and the Dig-Quad will be able to run the new Ethernet boards on that current version, basically. for driving LEDs. There will be some other limitations, but yeah, it's otherwise technically impossible. So yeah. So let's just reflow these pads. There we go. And let's do these. So for anyone who says SMD is hard, you just have to vaguely get it in the right location with some paste vaguely at the right spot, and look at that. There we go. See how they auto-correct themselves in regards to position? I think that's okay, no bridges, but we'll have a look. Let me turn this off, and then turn this off. Oh, so much noise. Now, what's gonna I could get my microscope, but I'm just gonna use a magnifying glass. And, can we do that? That looks not bridged. Yeah, okay, let's look here. Okay, okay, that's better. That looks fine. It's not great. I think it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna take a closer look myself. Hold on just a second. Yeah, that's all fine. No problems there. Okay, so that's most of the SMD parts done. Oh, even the wrong footprint here worked out, I think. Nice. Let's see, this is all done. Okay, then it is pin headers. That's fine. Let's get the pin headers. So I'm following my own soldering guide for people wondering. Okay, so pin headers go from the top, and as you can see here, oh, sorry. As you can see here, this layout changed a little bit. And what I generally do is I stick them in there, and I go like, okay, so I need that many. Ouch, the board is still hot. Oh, in this case, I should actually do it differently. I'm just gonna take one off. And then do it like that. And do it like that, because that's just easier to solder. So here I need this many. And then 2 extra. And here I'll need 3. And here I will need 3 also. I think that's it in regards to pin headers. Let me look at chat for a little bit. Even the wrong side resistor, yeah. You can just zoom in with your camera. What are we talking about? So the 10 dig quads I just built to run with X-Lite won't be great. Well, it depends all on your Wi-Fi setup and stuff like that. But if you want to run 1200 LEDs per dig quad, all on the same Wi-Fi radio with maybe a congested Wi-Fi network, that could run into problems. But then you can upgrade to the Ethernet board with some limitations later, and well, that should be fine. Hey, by any mean would you release the SMD version of the PCB to order them? Maybe, but that's gonna complicate things a lot in regards to the guides, and people get confused and they order the wrong version and they don't have the right components, and so currently the answer is no, but I'll think about it. Somebody is writing in, I think that's Japanese. Oh, Johnny's actually answering in, oh no, he's answering the person. He's not answering in Japanese. Camera zoom versus magnifying glass. Ah, yeah. Yeah, well, the camera's already zoomed in maximum, so can't zoom in anymore. What did you use for lever shifter? Does not look like 74HC anymore. No, again, this is a prototype for the pre-assembled versions, which uses SMD level shifters, and it still uses the same type. The DIY version, which will come out, an updated version will come out later after these are released, will still feature the same level shifter as I've been using before. So now let's do a little trick. Basically lift up the board. And then put the onderzetter, the coaster, on top. And then I just turn it around. And now it should be pretty straight. It looks pretty straight. So let's get some tin here. What's so hard for DIYers? Why is it not for DIY? Because, well, this one has some more SMD components, but the Dig-Quad has a lot more SMD components, and, well, just not a lot of real, yeah, the simpler DIY folk aren't used to that, basically. Okay, let me turn that on. I'll think about it, but right now the answer is no. '74, yeah, I believe that's the one, Scoto Moto. Okay, heating up my iron. My fume extractor is in front of the chat. Onderzetter, yeah, I think it's a coaster in English. I'm not sure. It's still in focus? I think so, but let's see. There we go. So, let's see if the iron is hot. It is, so sorry about that, but I'm going to turn on the fume extractor again. And let's tack some of the pins. Come on. Just going to give them a tack so I can see if they're all straight, and then I'll solder the rest. I think I got them all. If not, they're just gonna fall out. Oh, no, I missed one. Anyway, let's take a look at these. These look to be fairly straight, so that's good. Okay, so I can tack those. Oh yes, that's over here. Okay, so I need to do my same little trick again. So I basically hold the board, put this on top, and then turn it around, and that should keep it relatively straight if you do it right. I didn't do it right. There we go. So let me tack one of those. Good enough. Okay, that all looks pretty straight, so I can solder the rest of the pins. There you go. Let's see here. It's a bit much on there, but it'll work. Bit too much there, so let me get that off. No, don't clog up that hole. Oh, damn it. Didn't want to do that. Well, if it's one hole, it's okay. We can fix that later. Fine, whatever. Yep, I think I got everything. Let's look at chat for a little bit. Those two 5-pin ICs are cheaper than 74HD 125. Can I know what the part number is? The part number was mentioned before by Scodomodo, and it's not so much that they're cheaper. I think it's actually more expensive because I'm using two instead of a single package that has 4 channels. This is one package which has 1 channel, but these can be placed by a machine where the through-hole part can't. That's basically the only reason. There's no difference. No other difference. So satisfying. Thanks. What's your favorite solder to use for these kind of jobs? Soldering iron could support plus 20 degrees. Okay. Sure, it's already at 390. But I need to replace my tip. My tip is old. Old and tired. I'm currently using Alpha. You're not going to be able to see that. So this is Alpha No Clean Telecore XL 825. It has a lead in it, and well, I have half a kilo of it, so it's going to last me a little while. But it's only for professional use, and I am certainly a professional. Don't tell them. Don't tell them anything. Okay. So we have a very out of focus board. Sorry for the shakiness. So we did our pin headers. Okay, next up is screw terminals. So I think I need a blue one. And a black one. That's what I generally use. Or, well, I could use a red one. I'll use a red one. I once looked into getting colored screw terminals per section of one, so I could have red, two blue, and then one black. That is actually possible. You can get anything in China, but the price, yeah, no, wholly expensive. I think I'm actually doing the order wrong, because I think the fuse holder is actually lower than the screw terminals are. 6040 is good for common solder job, yeah. Johnny, I feel old and tired. Ah. Yeah, there isn't really any advantage other than that a machine can place those and solder those instead of having to solder legs. Because if you assemble a board in China, well, how the pricing works, actually, you're going to pay per leg that you need soldered. So if you can replace a leg with an SMD component, that's cheaper in regards to manufacturing. Now, the part might be more expensive or a different price, but yeah, that's basically how it works. You pay literally per leg that they need to solder. So all these pin headers on there, those all have a price per pin, basically. So anything I can make SMD in regards to the pre-assembled, I will, because it's cheaper, you know. Okay, now I'm going to turn my soldering iron up to the max, because, well, we all know these pads and the screw terminals are going to take a lot of heat. So let's do that. Let's do these first. So I start by just feeding in a lot of solder, like, oh, stuck, oh no, okay, like that, and then you just wait. Just wait, keep on waiting, wait some more. Need to reposition my iron real quick, and I want to scoop this up. There we go. I'm gonna flow in some more. And you just wait, because you have to heat up the whole board, or a large portion of the board. Now you can see it moving. Okay, I think that's pretty decent. We'll move on to the next one and then come back to it later. So now we're going to heat up this part. Just wait. Just keep on waiting. Keep on adding heat. There we go. You see that? You see how it suddenly pulled itself all over the circle? So now we're going to go back to this one, because now there's sufficient heat in the board. And there we go. Now they're soldered. So same thing over here, and this is actually connected to an even larger plane. You just need to add solder and then wait. I think it's actually already heated up a little bit. Yeah, this is pretty good. Too cold. I'm at 480. It's not too cold. There's just a really large plane there. Okay. Oh, well, that was easy. You just put your soldering iron on the highest temperature it'll go. Okay, let's solder these terminals here. So same trick again, since these are now the highest part, I put them on my coaster, I turn it around, and that should have them perfectly aligned and straight, and yeah, and that way you can do multiple at the same time. Why does it need that much solder? Well, they're large pads and they're through a hole, so you know, the top side isn't the only side that's there. I am not in screen. There we go. So now my iron is a bit too hot for these pads, but it's okay. See, this one needs a lot of solder again. You see, wait. Yeah, keep adding heat, yeah. And once it pulls itself over the whole pad, then it's done. Okay. Adding a lot of solder. Wait, yeah, there it goes. Pulls itself over the pad, and it's done. Yep, and it's done. Okay, so I'm going to put my iron back to a bit more sane temperature, under 400 degrees, so like 390. That's what I like to use. And let's see what the next part is. Ah, the headers, yes. Let's see what chat is saying. My old welder easily beats my new welder. Yeah, I can imagine. It probably has a lot more power. Why did you buy a new one? Yeah. Nice glasses. Yeah, thanks. It's just, you know, for the solar fumes and the, what do you call it? The flux. Don't want any in my eyes. Okay, I need to get 2 components. These are new or different. So this is going to be, what soldering iron are you using? Sorry about I have a Jue Int 3210. Let me type that real quick. Now I have had this station for many years now. I have that one, but I have some recommendations that are better to buy nowadays. Okay, so one of the big changes, and the DIY version is going to have this too, is that we now have a double row of 9 pins over here and a single row of 9 pins over here. Now I hope I didn't botch it up. I might have. Okay, these holes need to be bigger. Okay, it fits, but just barely, so I need to fix that in my PCB design. So basically it'll look like this in the end. So there's a dual row of 9 pins over here and a single row of 9 pins over here. But I need to make those pins, or those holes, a bit bigger. Okay, added that to my notes. Now I have to see how I'm going to solder this, because this one will stay in place because it's so tight. This one will just fall down. I didn't do it in the right order, I think. Oh, I know how to do it. I just put a Dig-Uno in there. That's what's in my guide. Or sorry, yeah. There we go. So I made a little sandwich like this. Now I can just turn it around and solder the pins. Let me focus that for you guys. There we go. Finished my soldering here. Should I fire it up? Of course. Check the line. What? Click the like? Oh yeah. Click the like. Thank you. I just bought a Kixurger, probably a little more than what I really need, but it's the first time I've been able to actually control temperature. Yeah, I know those. Those are pretty good. Those are nice. Maybe, can you use 2 single rows instead of a double? Yes, that fits. I've tried that. That's no problem. Maybe stupid question. Can you vary output voltage on each channel fused, like 5 volt on one and 12 volt on another channel on the Dig-Quad through WLED? No, that is absolutely impossible. And yes, you could design something like that, but then you'd also need a dual power supply hooked up to the board, and then some kind of relay switching system to make some outputs 5 volt and 12 volt, or have dedicated 5 volt and 12 volt outputs, and it's a very niche situation. Yeah, I don't think... Oh, come on. I don't think that's really worth the effort to build or make or design. You could just run 2 boards. One 5 volt board and one 12 volt board in the same location. And, well, then you'd have what you want, basically. Oh, I didn't turn my fume extractor on. Sorry for the noise. Okay. This pin needs a bit more heat. It's probably connected to ground. There we go. I did it. It's not pretty, but it'll work. Oh no! There we go. Sorry, I have to go. Have a nice stream. Bye, Johnny. Thanks for hanging around. Oh no. I soldered the screw hole. That's okay. Just got here. Looks like a new version. When can we get them? This one. This is a prototype I am doing for the new pre-assembled version. I'm hoping to put those out in like a month and a half, something like that. And then I'll follow up with a DIY version of it too. Some little bit after that. But these are mostly have changes in regards to accommodating Ethernet without losing too much functionality. Ethernet also works on the current version, but you lose some functionality like the Q pins and the temperature sensor and stuff like that. So that's why I'm preparing new versions. And this is a prototype. I haven't tested it yet. This is the first time I'm soldering this version. So yeah, I thought I'd hit stream, and you know, here we are. What software do you use to design? I use KiCad. Just the board or the entire kit? For what? Why are the screw holes metallized solderable? That makes them a little bit more durable than raw PCB material, basically. So if you screw them in and out a few times, if it's just raw PCB material, the insides aren't plated either. So I like these style holes better because they're just a little bit more durable. I volunteer as a tester. We'll see, we'll see. So this still has enough clearance, as you can see. Okay. Okay. Oh, with the diode not there, it's a bit crooked now. Okay, well, we'll see. I think these pins are all done. We need some caps, and I need a special baggie for that. Today we're only going to place one cap because I haven't selected a 24 volt compatible cap for on this side yet. Still need to do that. Generally I just push them in, hold them flush, and then I bend the legs like that, and then I solder one of the legs. Of course I picked the wrong one, the one that needs a lot of heat. Okay. And then I test how flush it is. It feels pretty flush, but basically I push the top, I melt the solder again. Okay. Now I know it's always going to be perfectly flush, and then I solder the second one. Again, needs lots of heat. Let me try and hold that down better. Yep, that's it. When can we get one? It'll be a while. It'll be a while, but you only need these if you want to run Ethernet and have some other remaining functions than driving LEDs. So don't be too quick. doesn't make the current boards obsolete in that sense. So let's snip these off. Try to at least. It's not the prettiest job, but it's okay. Let's see, do we want to solder the DC-DC converter, or we're just going to use 5 volt? Nah, let's solder it. Let's do it. Because I need to test it. Yep, that's the right one. Okay. Let me break this off real quick. If I can. Did they forget to V-score it? No, it's there. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so little DC converter, which sits over here. Now it's always a pain to get these in straight. So I basically use the same trick as I use with all the other stuff. I pick a pin, in this case V in. I solder that one. There we go. And then I basically hold the board like this, and then I melt it again until I think it's in straight and in the right position. That looks okay. I can always bend it up a little bit, and then I solder the rest of the pins. Okay. The trick to solder straight is to solder the bit from the top. Okay. The QuinLED-Dig-Quad is going to stay as it is, so the analog version. But I am working on a new analog board, which should come out somewhere this year. I keep saying 6 months at least. And I also want to try and make that version pre-assembled available, and it'll have some nice features and upgrades above the current boards. And for now, the Deca Plus is, well, basically on hold indefinitely, because I'm using a lot of stuff from the Deca Plus in this new analog board I want to build. So yeah, I have some plans, and I have a rudimentary prototype already, and that's going to be nice. Okay, that all looks pretty decent. This one might need a little bit more heat. There we go. Let's do those again, because I just snipped those pins off. Don't want a cold solder joint. There we go. That's neater. That's better. Is the new board's 5 channels? Yes, the new analog board I'm working on is 5 channels. That is correct. If you are building this prototype and want some further testing, feel free to send it to me. Sure. I'm going to test it first. Well, we're going to test it on stream. Let's turn it on in a bit. Yeah, this all looks pretty much complete, I think. And on top of here, it looks pretty much complete. As I said, I still need to select a cap for that. Let me get a temperature sensor. Oh, I hate when that happens. I ripped open the bag and it didn't open. So it's like you rip open the top part, but then you still can't get to them. There we go. Okay, temperature sensor. So you guys liking these weekly live streams? I can't promise I keep doing that, but as I said, I don't have enough material for a QuinBoxed, so I think maybe a live stream can be a nice alternative. Still thinking of releasing a video maybe this Sunday, but we'll see. Aren't you missing a few pull-up resistors on the bottom? Yes, but those are only for when you want to use the Q1 through 4 pins. There's 2 pull-up resistors and 2 pull-down resistors. And, well, in the current configuration that I want to test them, I don't need those resistors. So, yeah, those are optional for the purpose you're going to use them for. Okay, so I do have one resistor here. That's a 10K for the button functionality. And then I just didn't solder the other pads because, well, I don't intend to do anything with them that needs a resistor right now. Okay, that should do. Those new pads I used for this temperature sensor are so much better than the old ones. They're already on the current version, but an earlier version of the Dig-Uno had different pads. They were just horrible to solder. I think your cap is wrongly piled. Oh, I think you're right. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. That would have been interesting. Yeah, you're right, because I kept the caps in the same orientation, and you see the stripe is on the wrong side. Damn. Arne Debray is right on the money. Yeah, it's always informative. I think so too. QuinBoxed. How will you see that after July with the new betaaltekenwiel? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens and how it changes. Okay, so let me snip off these legs real quick and then fix that cap. Okay. Those joints look fine. They're not pretty. Is it touching the cap? Nope, it's fine. Yeah, it's not pretty. Normally I pay more attention. Anyway, this thing needs to go. How will I do that? I guess I'm gonna try and wiggle it out. This is also not the prettiest method, but it's out. Stealing the light show. Well, it's probably the explosion show. But, you know. Let's see if this is salvageable. Need to bend this a little bit. I've had caps blow up before. It's not funny. I can tell you that. So now, how do I get these to go back in? I have a desolder machine, so I could use that. Let's see if we can do this without it. this isn't the prettiest way of doing it, but you know. There we go. Let's flush again. It's correctly oriented. The smell of blown caps is like smell of rotten eggs. Yeah, and it can be pretty violent too. Do you have a video, or you know of someone that has a video on designing PCBs and the method of doing so? There's some decent channels on YouTube. I don't like making those videos myself. That's why I don't do that. Hold on. But yeah, as I said, there's some channels on YouTube. You can look them up. PCB design tutorial or KiCad tutorial or something like that. Unexpected Maker, Sion, did a live stream last week, about starting to learn KiCad. So that's someone who already knows how to design PCBs, who's just trying to learn a new PCB designing software. So you could check out his live stream too. I thought it was pretty good. And that'll teach you a few things. Yeah, as you can see here, layout of the Dig-Uno has changed slightly here and there. So some pins have moved and stuff like that, but it's still generally the same. I think we have most of the stuff soldered. Let me take a sip. If it works, it ain't stupid. That is true, Stefan. But I did pull on these legs of the cap pretty hard. Now, I don't mind using that myself, but that wouldn't be acceptable to send to someone, for instance. And some of these solder joints, like this one here, is way too much solder on it, and I could clean that up. I mean, this is ugly, and yeah. What is the extra row of the pins for? Sorry, don't have to say sorry, that's fine. So, as I said, the main changes of this board are to prepare for the Ethernet version, where the Ethernet version claims, the Ethernet part of it, it claims 10 pins of the ESP32. I had to use different pins that were on the original layout to, accommodate the 10 pins that go to the Ethernet part. So those go from the ESP32 basically up to the Ethernet part. That means that the pins down here are different than they were before, and that's why I'm making a new version of the Dig-Uno, where even if you don't use the Ethernet version, that's fine, but then it's compatible with both basically. And the old one will work with the Ethernet version, but it'll have limited functionality basically. And I'll divulge more about that in the future. I'm working on an article which clearly states if you're running a Dig-Uno version, blah blah, and you want to use Ethernet, these are the limitations, etc. What are we talking about? About my audio. Yes, I use a ducking chain in OBS to lower my music when I'm talking, and it automatically comes back when I'm not talking. And I personally like that, because then there's some music when there's silence, and when I'm talking, the music isn't too loud. I think that worked quite well. I'm going to walk away for just a second, because I need to get a prototype, because this one this was one of the ones I was testing on, and I blew it up on purpose. And the circuit worked as I wanted it to. It blew up in the way I wanted it to. So yeah. Michael Bauer, is PoE possible? Not for LEDs. Will the Ethernet version help with running LED lights in X lights without any delay in effects? Yes. That's exactly what it's for. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay. So this one is broken, so we're going to use this one. And as you can see from this one also has the double rows soldered here and one row here. Now, the new design makes it so that even if it's not soldered, there is space for all the rows if needed in another design or whatever. So yeah, it moved some stuff around, etc. And we have the double rows here for because of the Ethernet portion and stuff like that. On purpose, yes. Now I've actually blown up at least 3 on purpose. So I mean, I need to do tests. So I need to see, like, okay, let's try and pull 2 or 3 amps through it, because it's seemingly a thing to hook up your LEDs directly to your development board and then try and pull 3 amps to it until your D1 Mini goes up in smoke because you basically fried the traces. But yeah, there's actually people selling kits like that with LEDs. It's stupid. It's not possible on my board, actually. That's what I was testing. But I also tested, like, okay, let's see what happens if you put 12 or 24 volt on the board. Does it explode in a fiery death? Or, you know, does it just break? And it all passed those tests very well. And that's why I went ahead and made 100 as a first production run, which we're going to put up soon. And yeah. And I did thermal imaging testing, and you know, I've been doing placement testing. So as you can see here, it's a tight fit, but it fits, because even with it on there, let me borrow a fuse from this Dig-Quad here. No, we're not going to demonstrate blowing up boards now, because then I have to spend days building more boards. And yeah, so even as you can see, even with the development board on there, the fuse still goes in, and I can still wiggle the fuse a little bit, so it's not actually touching. It's close, but it's not touching. So yeah, and you can also still take it out without too much trouble and pull it apart. So yeah, and USB-C. Look at that, USB-C. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, USB-C. Oh. Okay. Let's get a jumper. Ziet er goed uit. U heeft precies Nederlands accent. Yeah, I'm Dutch. I'm not trying to hide I'm Dutch. Where did my jumpers go? Nope. Wait, where did my jumpers go? Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay, what color jumper do we want? We have yellow, blue, white, black, green, or red. Normally I use a yellow on the GPIO selection, and then a red on the power. But so I'm just going to do yellow and red. I like that. I like those. Okay. Yeah, so final pricing hasn't been determined yet. I don't have all the costs yet for the components and the bill of materials and the manufacturing costs and the packaging, and how much does it cost to include a little pigtail and an external antenna and solder the pins and package it up nicely, you know, all that stuff. So once I have that, I'll try and set pricing. Currently I am looking at competing with a D1 Mini 32 and boards like that. So I'm trying to get it around those prices, but I can't promise or give you a final price just yet. But as I said, that is the highest priority right now, so we're really working on that. So soon. And then current users will also be able to upgrade. So if you have a Dig-Uno now and like to switch to an ESP32, you can either order an ESP32 with in the future with a board antenna like this, or I don't know where I put it. Oh, I do know where I put it. I put it inside that lamp. You can also get an ESP32 with an external antenna connector. And then you can hook up an external antenna, or you'll be able to get the third variant, and that's a QuinLED ESP32 with the Ethernet stack, I guess we could call it. And then you get the ESP32 board with the Ethernet included, which you can then just plug into your Dig-Uno, and now you have a Dig-Uno with Ethernet. So, yeah. But for now, let's... oh, do we want to do Ethernet? We can do Ethernet. Do we want to do board antenna or Ethernet? You guys tell me. I'm fine with both. You want to see Ethernet in action? Let's do Ethernet. I'm not going to give you a choice. Let's do Ethernet. Let's show off Ethernet. Have you been thinking about a one-board design including Ethernet instead of a stackable design? Yeah, I have. But there's already a lot of Dig-Unos out there. So I wanted to give current users the ability to upgrade their current board, because I was able to make that technically work. As I said, there are some limitations, but it's still a worthy upgrade. And it's also a fine upgrade for both the Dig-Uno and the Dig-Quad this way. So I thought, okay, let's do the stack first. And I am working on a different line of boards. It's still a bit hush-hush. Nobody knows about it. Well, okay, Dr. Z's knows about it. But I am working on a separate line of boards, which will be a little bit less DIY and easier to use and stuff like that. But yeah, that's not out yet. Maybe in the future. Or, well, in the future, of course. So, hey, will the Dig-Quad work with the Ethernet add-on? Yes, it will. Look at that. It's a Dig-Quad with an Ethernet add-on. So yeah, no problems there. It's all made to be compatible. I'm building myself a whole ecosystem here. Okay, so we need a 5-volt power supply. I think I have one here, which I already snipped off the leads, so it's 2 little wires now. There we go. Yeah, I have one of those. And then we need some, let's do these. Then we need some LEDs. So I have my bundle here with testing LEDs. Okay. Okay. I need some leads. I guess I can borrow some leads from here. This is my Dig-Quad I was testing with this week, because it was also a new prototype. Let's borrow those. Let me check something real quick. Okay, let's borrow those leads. The Ethernet option is so awesome. I'm massaging the wife into agreeing to building a mega tree for 2021. Let's make that with an Ethernet Quin board. Oh yeah, for sure. If you get a Dig-Quad with Ethernet, you can easily drive like 2000 LEDs up to 60 frames per second over Ethernet. And that'll look and work great using X-Lights and stuff like that. That's exactly what it's intended for. So, okay, I'm going to use a little pigtail cable here just to make the connecting the LED a bit easier. Never mind, I think I saw an antenna on the Ethernet. Yes, the Ethernet version is either based on the external antenna connector or the internal board antenna connector. And it makes the most sense to build them with a board antenna, so that if you don't hook up Ethernet, you can use the board antenna, and then when you do hook up Ethernet, you can use Ethernet. But yeah. Let's see here. So we have ground, that's white. We have LED 1 instead of L1D, that's changed. And then we have red, that is positive. And always pay attention to here. LED voltage input is output. So make sure to remember that. That's something I added to the board because it's gone wrong a few times, I've noticed. So, you know. Something totally different. You mentioned you would do a series about HA. Do you have any idea in what month intend to air those? Need to buy hardware and want to know if it's worth waiting. Yes, I've actually been starting to collect hardware for that. We're going to do that on using some mini PCs. And I've selected 2 types, and I actually have both in right now. But I first want to finish my DIY Cloud Backup 2021 series. And that'll have like 4 or 5 episodes. So it'll be, I'm not sure, maybe April or somewhere beyond that. But hit me up on the Discord, and I can tell you my plans with it. And, well, you know, basically my idea with it. And what hardware I like to use for that. And I have been testing the hardware already. So just, Yako, just hit me up on Discord and we'll have a chat about that. And you could at least get the stuff already and, you know, start playing with it if you want. What does your house look like for Christmas? Actually, I didn't do too much for Christmas. I bought a few thousand LEDs. Pixels and stuff like that, and I did testing on them, but I didn't actually use them yet. But someday, once I have some more time, I never have more time because I'm always working on stuff. But you know, I just purchased my first Dig-Quad from Dr. Z's last night. We'll replace the ESP32 with an Ethernet board when that becomes available. Excellent. That's no problem. Okay, so I'm plugging the Ethernet board in. There we go. And kind of looks like this. Okay, so yeah, it's set to 5 volt because I have SK6812 LEDs here. Let's plug those in. Let's move them around a little bit, I guess. Let me zoom out the camera. Oh, it was already zoomed out. Okay, let me physically zoom out the camera. There we go. Like something like that should work. Okay. Now the adapter I'm using is 5 volt, 10 amps. So that should be plenty. You actually only have a 5 amp fuse in here, but that'll be okay. I should have a power cord here, and I do. Okay. Now I don't know if this Ethernet board already has a lease on my network. I believe it does. Can you power the ESP32 with a separate power supply on this version? Yes. On here, it didn't change for this version, so you can still use a different power supply to power the board and Ethernet than your LEDs. There's an article about that on QuinLED.info in the addressable LED section. With the new Dig-Quad, I made some changes regarding that, so there's now 3 terminals here for the 5 volt EXT function, as I call it, and that has 5 volt ground for a different power supply, and it can be anything from 5 volt to 24 volts on the pre-assembled version, the new pre-assembled version that I'm looking to release at some point. And then it also has the relay pin right here, so you don't have to do anything with DuPont connections anymore. You can just wire it all in these terminals. But yeah, so that's supported on both of the boards. On this one, you just have to do some extra soldering. Deliciously busy, Q. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm always busy with stuff, you know. Okay, so let's get an Ethernet cable. I have one here. Try not to disturb my camera. Oh no. Okay. Now, let me turn my soldering iron off and get that out of the way. Let's hope we don't need it. But you never know. And actually, this one is running on permanent battery power now. So that's not a problem anymore either. It's not going to cut out on us like it did. Okay, let's plug in the Ethernet. Let's see if everything's visible okay. I think there's already WLED on this module. I'm not sure. I think so. And let's turn on power. Oh, we have light. Oh, we have Ethernet because can you see the blinky LEDs? There we go. Blinky, blinky. That's online. Of course, this is SK6812 and it's not configured for that. And, you know, let's see. 5-hour stream. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, I know which IP it got. So let me go to that IP. Because I have no idea which firmware is on here. Did I see that wrong? Oh, yes, I did. Okay, I can try and share my screen. Let's see here. Chrome scene. And then I need to select my browser. There we go. So this is WLED running over the Ethernet version. It's not really easy to see that, but if you look in the info here, you see we have 0 dBm. Yeah, that basically means it's connected through Ethernet. Let me add a source here. I think it's this one. Oh, it was already there. Haha, stupid. So it's you know, the top cam is behind the chat. That's fine. Let's configure it because we don't have 1200 LEDs. I've been testing this one on a quad, it seems, and we have RGBW. Save. Nice. We have the orange we were looking for. Sorry for messaging so much, but I just wanted to also say I was able to get X-Lite WLED connected and get 2 rough sequences through my Dig-Uno this week. It wasn't that difficult. Excellent. Good to hear. Okay, so this is working, and this is working through Ethernet. Let's see. I don't know. Effects. Aurora. Okay, that's a stupid effect. Blends. Let me turn down the studio lights real quick. Let's go to 25%. There we go. Everything's connected through QuinLED boards here, so I can easily manipulate my lights. Bouncing balls. Chun's fun, and we can do a different palette. Atlantica. Ooh. Circus. Okay. Color loop. That's pretty. When will the WLED version for multi-channel be available? Well, there's currently alpha builds. I also have pre-compiled versions of on my website, so you can use those for the time being. And if you compile the dev branch of WLED yourself, you can already use it now. Actually, should we put the dev branch on here? Try it out. It's I want to stream until 12 o'clock. let's say, then we've been going 2.5 hours. Do we want to put the dev branch on here? And I can show you a preview. Check the color order. Just set it to red. Is the color order wrong? Could be. But it's orange, so that's good. Red. Blue. Green. No, it's okay. Color order is fine. Dancing Shadows. Yeah, we want to check out the dev branch because I think I have a compiled version lying around. Security updates, manual update. So this was for the Dig-Quad, but the Ethernet is compiled in, and the pinout is settable through the interface. Let's do it. Let's turn the studio lights back on a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to select this version I have here already compiled. It was for the Dig-Quad. Pinout should be almost the same, and I'm just going to hit update. The Ethernet light's blinking away. I can't show you because I don't want to touch it right now. Updating, updating. Some WS2812B Casper, or maybe some SK6812 and then 60 LEDs a meter. That can be nice. Okay, so the module updated. Okay, we still have a connection. That was what I was most worried about, but I compiled Ethernet into this version. Now, okay, let's show you guys the new version of WLED as it is currently in the dev branch. So, to configure it, and I think there's already some config in here, if you go to LED preferences, you now see a new hardware setup piece that says LED outputs. I can make it bigger. There we go. And it's actually already set because I already set it in the old config. It's set to output 1, SK6812 RGBW, color order gRGB, 0 till 144. And then if I want to connect a second LED strip, I just hit this plus here. And I say, okay, my second LED strip is WS2812B, whatever, gRGB, and it's located on GPIO. I have to check. I think it's 1. Yeah, it should be 1. GPIO 1, and it also has 144 LEDs. And then you can easily add a second output like that. Can you put a precompiled version on your site for the Uno? Not for this one. This is still very beta alpha. Doesn't maybe work. Not sure. Pin conflict. Okay. Oh, this isn't pin 1. This is pin 16. Okay, let's see if my single... Okay, this output's still working. Let's turn it off real quick. And let's connect a second LED strip and see if that works. Yeah, both are... Yeah, I fixed that. It's because I ran it on the other firmware first, and then I upgraded it, so it took over those settings somewhat. Yeah, that's why it looked that weird. If you configure it from scratch, it just doesn't say anything. And then you just add both channels with the right pins, and that's it. You can always find all the pins and stuff like that you need on my pinout article on my website. There's a pinout article for the Dig-Uno and the Dig-Quad, and of course there will be a revision to that for the new ones because they use different pins. Okay, so let's add them. Of course, this is harder on a Dig-Uno than it is on a Dig-Quad. Because the Dig-Quad is designed for that, so it has more terminals and stuff like that. But let's just try and cram it in here. See if that works. Is the data signal strong enough for about 14 meters of SK6812 on an ESP8266 with WLED? Yes. because each LED will regenerate the data. So as long as you keep voltage drop under control, that is no problem. But you are going to exceed the maximum recommended LEDs per channel and stuff like that. So I'm not sure I'd recommend that. I'd probably recommend at least 2, maybe 3 data ports for that. So then you'd be looking at a Dig-Quad. But it all depends on the frame rate and stuff you're looking for. Yeah, okay. I'm going to be putting wire ferrules on here because otherwise this is never going to work. And even with those, I'm not sure I can cram it in here. We're just going to experiment a little bit. I'll go back to this wheel. So let's snip these off. Okay. I'm at 8 meters now, yeah. The problem is that these LEDs use a protocol that is fixed rate. So the more LEDs you add, the slower it will update each LED. And up to about 500 to 600, you're okay. You're at around 60 frames per second. But if you go above that, you'll go below 60 frames per second, and the LED updates and stuff like that will start to look more choppy. And then it's recommended to basically switch to 2 data channels. So you break up the LED strip, and then you can have more LEDs. No, it has nothing to do with the microcontroller. It's the protocol of the LEDs itself. So if you use multiple ports, like I'm showing here on the Dig-Uno, which has 2 ports, or you can do with a Dig-Quad, which has 4 ports, you can, exceed that limitation as long as you adhere to it per port. Do you have a name for that connector kit? Go to QuinLED.info and then scroll down a little bit to the tools and equipment section, and then there is a wire ferrule kit, and that is the exact kit I'm using here. Okay, those seem okay. Now we're going to do a little trick, and that is we're going to squish the ferrules to make them fit easier into the terminals. And now let's see if we can make this work. So red goes in here, and red goes in here, and the other red also goes in here. It's a tight fit, but it fits. Where's my screwdriver? Here. Okay, then we have a green that goes into LED 2, because I renamed that port. And then we have a green that goes, come on, into LED 1. And let's see if we can cram 2 of these into the ground terminal. Oh no, this wire ferrule wasn't perfect to start with. Let me do it the other way around. Okay, forced it in there. Are you sure the board can handle the power for those LEDs? An hour ago you said the board isn't designed to run more than 3 amps. You mean my Dig-Uno board? The Dig-Uno board is able to run up to 15 amps continuously. And I've tested it up to 25 amps continuously, actually. The development board, the ESP32 board, shouldn't run those numbers. But the Dig-Uno can handle that easily. How far away can the Dig-Uno be from the first LED until you have to regenerate the data signal? Generally, people have pretty good success with like 10 meters of data wire. If you use like AWG 18, something like that. Okay, let's plug this back in here. We might blow the fuse. We'll see. Yeah, so yeah, the Dig-Uno can easily handle 15 amps. That's no problem. And the Dig-Quad can handle 30 amps. And then we're talking continuously, so all the time. And it can even handle more in burst. Let's say the Dig-Uno can handle 25 amp burst fine. And the Dig-Quad can handle a 50 amp burst fine. And this is only a 10 amp power supply. So yeah, but we have a 5 amp fuse in there. So let's see what happens. Okay, let's attach LED strip 1. And let's roll that up a little bit. Yep, level shifters and everything. Okay, that's LED strip 1. Let me get another one. I'll get it. Oh no, I don't have one. I can get one. Let's make it a real test. I have some BTF 5 volt WS2812B. I believe this is the Eco variant. So we're going to mix 5 volt WS2812B Eco, or just normal WS2812B, and SK6812 RGBW on the same controller. And I haven't tried this yet. But in theory, with the alpha version we're running right now, this should work. If you've ever tried to make longer LEDs run with just an ESP32, you quickly come to the appreciation of how awesome the Dig-Uno is. Thanks, Richard. That's awesome to hear. Okay, SK6812 RGBW, 144 LEDs, 300 also 5 volt WS2812 RGB LEDs, 1 Dig-Uno with Ethernet, and a 5 amp fuse with a 10 amp power supply. Well, we'll see. Now, these are my cheap fuses, and they're pretty bad actually. I don't think it'll blow at 5 amps. We'll see. Okay, let's. Oh. Donald Gover, every time I watch your stream I learn something. Thanks for sharing your time and knowledge. Thank you for donating. That's awesome. And I'm glad you picked something up from it, because that's basically the biggest reason I make these videos. So yeah. What could possibly go wrong, right? Let's just hit the power. Okay. Okay. Nothing blew up so far. So it looks like I probably switched the outputs, because this is now displaying all kinds of funky colors. You can't see it because it's blown out. Let me lower down the studio lights again. And let's go to WLED. And let's go to our setup page here. Let's remove that one. Save. LED preferences. So pin 1, so LED outputs. We have SK60, no, we have RGBW, So, or sorry, WS2812B. gRGB is fine, I think. We have 300 of those. And those are on pin 16. Right? Okay. I don't know what I fill in here. Let's just save. Okay, so that made them orange. That's good. I realize this is a bit behind the chat. Yeah. I'm not sure where to put it, because I also want to show WLED. Okay, I'm going to keep it behind the chat. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Now we add a strip. So we want to add our second one. That is SK6812. And I believe it's on pin 3 or pin 1. I never know. I need to look it up myself. But let's just say it's on there. 144 LEDs. Save. Nice. So we just configured multi-channel from within WLED. That's awesome. Now I think I need to raise this to 444, I guess. Yeah, so now these all light up. And these light up. And now let's see, let's make it red. Okay, let's make it blue. Okay, let's make it green. Voila! We now have dual output on a Dig-Uno with the interfaces configurable in the interface. The channels or the pins. Oh, and running Ethernet too. It's recommending a 5 volt 25 amp power supply, and I have a 10 amp connected on a 5 amp fuse. If we see an orange light here, it's the fuse glowing. Finally caught one of your streams, Quinn. Dig-Uno with Ethernet. Interesting indeed. Guess I'll need more than the 10 I have. Oh yeah. It's magic, right? So, I guess we can do some effects. I don't know. Let's do color loop again. Oh no, okay. Color loop works. Color waves. Yeah. This isn't getting too hot. No, it's not getting too hot. It's fine. Okay. Dancing shadows. So now it's basically like it was before. It's one giant LED strip for WLED. Let's see if we can make it segments. Let's say the first segment stops at 300. And then, I guess so. How does that work? Can I make a different effect here now? It's just doing the same thing, but on two outputs. Can your Ethernet board work with Hyperion? Yeah, I think so. If you send it E131 data, that should work fine. Is it the Dig Duo now? Yes, but I'm not going to change the name. So, should I make this like that? Is that what I'm doing wrong? So these should be 0 to 300, and this is 300 to 444. Let's see. Yeah, now it looks like they're doing it independently. So let's say I want segment 1. I wanted to do flow. Yes, okay, that was it. And then segment 0, I want to do Merry Christmas. Yes, okay. So the way to configure it is here you set the total amount of LEDs. In my case, that's 300 plus 144. And then you configure the first pin. Now, in my case, that's 16. It has 300 WS2812Bs connected. Okay. That's these, sorry. And then we move on. Don't pay attention to this. That's a bug. Then we move on to the second pin. That's pin 3 in my case on a Dig-Uno. It's connected with SK6812 RGBW. And that is LEDs 300 to 444 of the total 444 we had here. And that's it. Yeah, okay, I didn't make any changes. And then I just divided them up in segments, 0 to 300 and 300 to 444, and now I can control them at the same time, so I can tell them, okay, do meteor smooth on both of them. Okay, it's doing that. Meteor, yeah, that's fine. Or I can say, yeah, sure, okay, but let's change this one to noise 3. So this one is now a noise 3. And let's change this one to palette. So this one, yeah. Okay, and I need this one to be less bright. So you can actually see it on camera. Yeah, that works. Shouldn't segment 1 be 301 to 444? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. See, I haven't tested a lot with this version of the firmware either yet. It doesn't seem to be doing anything wrong. So, I don't know. We can change it. That wouldn't make a difference, but... yeah. It's amazing, right? Yeah, they've been doing great work with this. This is still very much alpha. This is currently in the newest dev branch. You can download on the GitHub. You can select the master branch or the dev branch. And if you select the dev branch, you can download this code and compile it yourself. I just made some changes to incorporate Ethernet into it because I'm using it with my Ethernet board. And... seems to work perfectly for now. Oh, I don't know what language that is. Is the frame rate correct? Seems low. I have lowered... well, my camera is only 30 frames per second. And then I have lowered the brightness a lot. Because, oh wait, I can't click there. Because otherwise it'll blow out on camera like this. But if you lower the brightness, it has 255 levels per color. So it has, wait, no, yeah, it has this amount of space. But if you now say it can only go up to 25% brightness, it doesn't have 255 steps, but it only has 64 steps. So that can make some animations look choppier. So, yeah. Next step, PoE. Where's the fire setting? Let's put it all on fire. Where's the fire? Fire. Fire flicker. Fire 2012. There we go. This will happen if you power it by PoE. It'll burn. Oh, the frame rate estimate. Yeah, I don't believe this is correct yet. As I said, this is very alpha. Like over here, it's saying, oh no, your memory usage is like exceeding giant amounts and blah blah blah, and your ESP32 will explode. Yeah, or if you click this, oh wait, no, your memory's fine, no problem. That's okay. It's a bug. So don't pay too much attention to that yet. Oh, some other nice things. You can actually set the relay pin, the button pin, the IR pin, and the aux pin right from the interface, just like the LED channels. So no more custom compiling versions. You just go to, okay, let's go to QuinLED-Dig-Info. Digitally adjustable LEDs. We have a Dig-Uno. Let's go to the pinout and wiring guide. And the button, on this board it's called button, on the old boards it's called GPIO0, is connected to IO17. If I'm using an ESP32, Okay, so button pin needs to be IO 17. That's what you basically need to do to set up WLED in the future. You take the pinout guide, you see, okay, L1C, which is called LED 1 on the new version, that is IO1, and L1D is either 16 or 3, depending where you have the jumper on. Okay, I'll change that here, and that's actually changed in the new version, but yeah, I'll change that to reflect that, and then you just fill in the pin numbers, hit save, no more custom compiling, all done. So that's going to be really cool once that is stable and released. I'll look into PoE at some point. Okay? How about that? But I doubt it'll ever come to these boards. Maybe a dedicated board. Not sure yet. But yeah, we'll see. Is there any more effects we want to see? Let's do it on both channels. Pride. Oh. What's our frame rate? 41? 42, 41, 42. Most effects are internally rendered at 40 to 42 in WLED. We still calculate with 60 because we also take into account some overhead and stuff like that, but yeah. Looks really pretty. Oh no! We passed the 12-hour mark already. I can't ever do short streams. It's impossible. Anyway, let's turn the studio lights back on. Let's do this one. That's a bit bright. That's okay. So, yeah. Oh, Al Jeffcoat, $10. Ethernet as master controller controlling Wi-Fi clients. You can already do that somewhat. Al Jeffcoat didn't have a message, but okay. Thank you very much for the donation, Al. That's very kind of you. Thanks for the stream. I'm going to bed. Great stuff, Quinor. Pet you off. Says Ayatami Espantoso Lewis. I hope he's not here to hear me butcher his name. Let me go to the face cam because we're going to start quitting the stream soon. Andy says, sorry, I didn't do too much mod tonight. Actually sold it myself and kinda succeeded. Hey, we didn't talk about that yet, but this prototype also kind of succeeded. Because I'm driving 2 LED strips. Wait, you can't even see what I'm doing. I'm driving 2 LED strips from the prototype I just soldered with the Ethernet bridge on there. Right? So this prototype's looking pretty good, I guess. Lewis is fine. Oh, I think you've told me before, actually. Good night. Al Jeffcoat says, anytime. Thanks for the info, entertainment, and fun. I'm glad you're having fun and got entertained and learned something. So, I'll give it 4 more minutes. Any more questions? And as said, this is all future stuff. This is a prototype for pre-assembled. DIY will be slightly different to make it easier to build. This is easier to build for machines. DIY is easier to build for humans. And we took a quick look at WLED. That's looking good. And yeah. I think that was pretty successful. The board works. I'm pretty happy with that. Does it run on unicorn farts? Well, if you look at colors like this, yes, it does. How are you driving 2 LED strips on an Uno? Well, when I designed the board, I had APA 102, which is a different type of LED strip in mind. It has a data pin and a clock pin. But with an ESP32 on there, if you have SK6812 or WS2812B or 2815 or 2811 or LED strip like that, you can use the 2 outputs and drive them individually. So secretly, the Dig-Uno was a Dig Duo all the time. But nowadays it's just a nice bonus feature from when you add an ESP32 on there. Thanks so much. Love your 10/10 all, Al. 10 out of 10. Nice. Cool. Well, I'm going to do some more tests on this prototype, but fitting seems pretty good. There's some small changes I want to make. But all in all, it seems to be working quite well. Thanks, Quinder. Thanks all. Was fun. Learned again. Awesome. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I guess I showed off Ethernet working for the first time too. And I guess I have to prove that's actually working. So here's WLED. And we can hit info and we can hit config and stuff like that. Now let me pull out the Ethernet cable. Okay. And I can hit config. Yep, no. Well, yeah, this is working, but I can't refresh it. Nope. It's broken. Oh no, connection to the light failed. Okay. Now let me plug in Ethernet back again. And there we go. It's immediately responding again. Effects, segments, favorites, blah, 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 config. So, okay. I don't know why I had to prove it was running on Ethernet, but it's really running on Ethernet. I want to build my studio lights with simple analog LEDs in a QuinLED-Dig-Quad. Should I go for premium strips or is good quality okay? Asking for video color rendering. So the strips I have here in my studio are a mix of color diode and Oxma. So those are the really premium strips. But I have tested with my spectrometer the GRI LED strips. And there is a special link in the good analog LED section for CRI 95 of GRI. And those are good. I can recommend those even for studio lighting. The biggest difference between Oxma and color diode and the GRI is that the Oxma and color diode can go about twice as bright. So they use 28.8 watts per meter and they have very thick copper strips and stuff like that. And the GRI stuff is a bit thinner and they're a lot more power limited. So they go to about 1200, 1400 lumens, and the color diode and Oxma can go up to 2500 or 2800, so almost double. And in studio lighting, sometimes brighter lights can be useful or required. I'm actually sitting in pretty good amount of light here, so I can use a low ISO and a fairly decent aperture and a decent shutter speed and stuff like that. So it all depends what you're trying to do with it. The GRI is fine color rendering wise, but you might want Oxma or color diode power wise, so output wise. Hope that explains it. Consongor Varga. And all the lights you see behind me, so all the spotlights and all the white lights and everything here is running on 2 QuinLED-Decas and 1 QuinLED-Quad set to 120,000 Hertz. So no matter the setting of the camera and stuff like that, it's all running, and that's how you see me controlling it, because I control it through Home Assistant. I have certain profiles set for, there's 3 different boards in here with all kinds of different channels. And I basically just have profiles like, okay, I'm doing a Quinboxed, or I'm doing a live stream, or I'm doing this, and it resets all the lights, because there's like 8 or 9 channels it changes, all at the same time, works perfectly. It's excellent for a studio setup, so yeah. So is Dig-Quad secretly a Dig-Octo? No, Zorion, it's not. And the Dig-Quad does more because it has the more power distribution terminals, more fuses, and, things like that. So, yeah. Love your stuff. How do I donate OOB to save 30% off the books? I did add, and I can show you guys, by popular demand, and because of some changes coming, but I'll reveal those soon, I added a donations link over here on QuinLED.info. So if you really want to donate to me and not to YouTube, you can do it by hitting this button, and it'll take you to a PayPal, paypal.me link, and it'll send it directly to my PayPal with a lot less fees than YouTube charges. Only donate what you can spare. It's greatly appreciated because, doing prototyping and stuff like that costs a lot of money. But it's greatly appreciated, but don't feel obligated. But yeah. I think the theoretical number, back to donations, I'd much rather you use my, if you try put in some effort and use my affiliate links or buy some of the boards and stuff like that. So, yeah. Patreon soon. I wonder, Andy. I wonder. My first live stream. Thanks for the great info. Loving the Dig-Duo. Oh, God. So my Dig-Unos with 8266 in them won't be able to be Dig-Duos. Gotta get some ESP32. Yeah, you just pull off the ESP8266, put an ESP32 on there, and then it's suddenly become a Dig-Duo. I'd wait for that a little bit, because then my custom ESP32 boards will be out, and those will also fit on the current Dig-Unos and give you that functionality. And, well, that's my board, so it's better. No, it has some additional features. And you can also get it with an external antenna connector or the Ethernet upgrade, as I've been showing. First time live streamer, got my Dig-Unos, they work great. You got your Dog-Unos. Dog-Unos. I don't know about that. I think the Dig-Duo name is gonna stick. Maybe, but I don't think my SEO on Google will change. So the product's gonna be called a Dig-Uno, but it will be, as you saw on the silk screen on the board, a dual channel controller from now on, if you have an ESP32 on there. Thanks again, Quinder, and thanks, chat. It's a great community you got in here, mate. I love it. I love you guys. That's why I just know I can hit the live stream button and just sit here and stumble around and solder some stuff together. It's all because of the community, and I really like it. Dog-Uno. Yeah. I definitely want those ESP32s with external antenna units. Those are coming. First test run soon. I hope to have those online soon, but China's New Year is going kind of bricking my my flow. But once that gets going again, we'll have those out. And once those have been tested in the wild, I'll do a Discord announcement where you can get the first batch. Then I will be replacing all ESP32s, and you'll get a selection when you buy your board. Do I want an ESP32 with a board antenna? Do I want an ESP32 with an external antenna connector? Or do I want an ESP32 with board antenna and the Ethernet hat? So, yeah. But that's all future talk. That's still a little bit behind. Dog-Uno, are you the guy behind Dogecoin? Okay, guys, I have to go. Where's my YouTube page? Okay, I'm really going to round it off now. Thanks everyone who was here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stumbling around with me and soldering and stuff like that. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye.